Hello Cancer, welcome to your May 2016 readings, and we're joined here by Duncan. She's going to be the star this month. We're going to be doing a love and general reading for you, so let me just go ahead and get started, if Duncan will let me. Okay. Reading for Cancer. Here we go. Come on. Okay. Okay, she's made a landing. Okay. Let's see. You know, there's really something going on with a lot of the signs this month, and I think it's really like an overall, like for all of us, but you specifically, because I'm seeing the cards here, some level of unrest, right? Like there's some lack of stability, some lack of balance, like feeling a little bit ungrounded, or is that a word? Ungrounded, not grounded. Just feeling not quite ourselves. And it's kind of hard, you know, especially in a relationship, you know, when we aren't quite feeling ourselves, and there are, you know, things that we want to say but we're not sure, you know, maybe we second guess ourselves. There are things we want to do but maybe we second guess ourselves. Maybe we're unsure of the way someone we are dating feels about us, and we ourselves are unsure of the way we feel about them. There's like a lot of questions, right, that sort of coincide there. It can apply to all areas of your life as well, but this is a specific love reading. And I am sensing a little bit of, with the Four of Swords, you know, it's very obvious that there are like two energies here. The Emperor and the King of Wands, and even the Knight of Pentacles that kind of comes in. But for some reason, I'm really sensing that this is like you, right? They're both kind of, I know you're Cancer, I know you're a water sign, but these are both like fire sign energies, right? This is the card of Aries, this is the card of fire signs, Leo, Sagittarius, Aries. But I think maybe you're going to be taking on some of those little personality traits, right? Have a more fire-like spirit, a more fire-like take on the world, more external, if you will. And therein lies perhaps some of the reasons why you might be feeling a little bit ungrounded, right? You're a little bit out of your element. You're not necessarily, it's not bad, but it's not necessarily true form for you, Cancer, a water sign, right? I think you'll still maintain a lot of your social elements. You'll still go out, you'll still have a good time. There will still be people around you, people in your life. But, you know, if you're dating, what I mean by that is really if you're dating, you know, there will still be people, there will still be events and things that you go to. But I don't know for sure if you're going to feel like totally on your game, okay? And I think there just might be some, like, like I said, some mental cloudiness. You might be feeling or looking back at things, times gone by, conversations that have been had, and maybe just not quite understanding exactly what it was all about, or exactly what the outcome is or is going to be. Specifically with a partner, there might be a little bit of confusion there for you. And you might just kind of say, you know what? I'm just going to do my own thing. I'm just going to focus and do me and do my thing and not really care or not really put a lot of energy or emphasis on the way they feel, on the way, and just not worry so much, right? Which could be, one of the reasons why you're feeling a little bit out of your element, because that's not in your nature to do. You are a very caring spirit, you're very loving, and you care very much of the welfare and well-being of other people. But this lack of understanding, this lack of clarity, I think might just kind of, like I say, throw you off a little bit. But not huge, right? It's not going to be this huge, gigantic problem or this huge, gigantic issue that you're having with your partner. There's just going to be something that maybe you're just going to try to move away from. You're just going to try to move forward, forge ahead, try not to let it bother you. But we all know Cancer, sometimes that's a little bit difficult to do, not just for you because you're Cancer, but for anybody. And I think Duncan's covering it up here, but the Eight of Wands, is a card of swift action and movement and forging ahead, right? And I do think there's going to be a hastiness about how this all occurs, right? Let's do a dating scenario. If you are dating, or if there is someone you are getting to know, I think you are hasty to try to take it to the next place, hasty to try to take it to the next level, or hasty to forget something, or hasty to move away from maybe a red flag, or maybe something that didn't sit very well with you, just because there's a lack of understanding there. But ultimately, I think even though you're trying to move forward, you're trying to just forget about it and move on, there's definitely the Seven of Pentacles, there's definitely something inside of you that's really holding on, that's maybe having a difficult time recognizing what happened, or recognizing that a change needs to be made, that maybe you need to address some things. I'm getting a little bit of a sense of denial happening here on your part, that maybe there's just something that you left behind that you need to reset, you need to revisit, you need to tackle something in order to find some level of peace, right? I mean, we have the Ten of Pentacles here. I kind of am seeing this as two energies, but also both as your energies as well. I started off with them both kind of being you, but I am seeing more like you as this King of Wands, and then your partner maybe more as this Emperor here, right? And then this Knight of Pentacles might be a little bit of a peace offering, but I think that's going to be slow to come. I think there's going to be slowness to consciousness, if that makes sense. It's not going to come right away. I think there's going to need to be a little bit of a phase, a little bit of time that passes before you begin to see, before you begin to recognize maybe what it is that's bothering you. It's kind of something that you just can't quite put your finger on. And so you put a pin in it and you move on. But something keeps pulling you back. You keep referencing it for some reason. You keep pulling it up, you keep thinking about it, you keep, like the file is very present on your desk, right? And there's going to be a time where it's going to be time to open that file and dig through it and read the papers and read the signs, But I think that's going to be a little bit challenging for you to do. It's going to be challenging for you to get to that point. There might be a little bit of stubbornness about your partner as well. Maybe a little bit of like, oh, something just entered my mind. I'm hesitant to say it because it's so specific. But there might be something that your partner says or does that is like kind of puts you down a little bit about the situation, right? They might say something to you to make you feel like, well, maybe you're being ridiculous for even considering, or even that being even an issue for you, right? They project it back onto you, and it's your problem. It's something that you need to deal with. And I don't know why that's coming to me, but it is, so I'm saying it. And if that is the case for you, I realize that might not be the case for all of you. I think that might be the reason why you kind of just move forward, right? You kind of just, okay, maybe you say, okay, you know what, they're right, it is my problem, I just need to move on. This is bugging me, there's something that kind of got under my skin a little bit, there's an issue here, but they say it is my problem, and you do accept responsibility for that, which is why you move forward, maybe quite hastily, before you address it, before you make peace with it. And it's not in your nature to do that. Issues need to be handled, they need to be addressed, there needs to be conversations about them. And in order for a relationship to continue or to blossom, or for you to be in the right place to meet someone new, it's really important to be feeling it's like a mojo issue, right? Like you got your vibe, you got your style. And when you're out of that element, it's difficult to really connect with other people on genuine levels. And there needs to be, or there will be, I hope there will be, I'll know a little bit more when I pull out some more cards, some offering or some level of peace, but it's slow coming. You might have a difficult time, like I said, admitting that this is actually a problem that needs to be addressed. If you are suppressing it, okay, because of something your partner said, because of something your partner did, I think it is going to take time for you to admit that, yes, it is something that bothers me. And again, there is that sense of denial, because you do ultimately want to maintain peace. You do ultimately want to move forward and have success in any situation, in a dating situation, in a relationship situation. You want that serenity, you want that joy. And sometimes we need to compromise, but I think in this instance, the compromise might be taken a little bit too far, and you then are not addressing things that are bothering you. You then are not being true to yourself. And that doesn't allow, or it delays, or it affects the quality of that peace, right? Of that compromise, right? So let me go ahead and I'm going to pull out some more cards. Duncan's going to help me. Huh, Duncan? actually that bottom one. Definitely wanted to come out. Okay. Yeah, okay, so this kind of actually really confirms a lot. I do see you coming out of it, so don't worry. Don't worry so much, and don't keep your eyes open for this either. Don't be on the lookout for something, or don't be on the lookout for something that they're going to say or that they're going to do. But I think it will just, for some of you, it might just happen, right? Or it has happened already and you're experiencing this at this point in time. I do see you turning a blind eye, right, to the issues. You're not acknowledging them. You're not allowing yourself to deal with them, to cope with them. 5 of Swords and 5 of Wands. There is certainly, something, and this is a very superficial type of quarrel, a very superficial type of situation, right? It's not the end all be all. It absolutely won't determine the success or failure of a relationship. It's just something that must be dealt with. It's something that might act as a catalyst for a conversation, or to really be exposing your true colors, right? I think you need to be true to yourself. You need to acknowledge what it is that's bothering you. And only once you do that will you find a way to conquer those bad habits. Will you find a way to get those things out of your life? This thing that's bothering you, this little inkling that you have, this little gnawing feeling, that your feelings are valid. The way you felt in response to whatever situation, it is valid, it is true. And this facade that you might be putting on, of forging ahead and not letting it bother you because someone told you that it was your problem, you need to deal with it, and you need to just accept who they are or whatever it is that they say or that they do. Don't take that lying down. I think you deserve to feel comfortable and to feel confident in your relationship, and you deserve what it is that you're aiming for by suppressing. You're suppressing it for a reason, because you want peace and tranquility in that relationship. But ultimately, you cannot have that when you aren't feeling that way. That makes sense? Very interesting reading for you, Cancer. I really hope it helps or provides some insight for you on some level at least. Let me go ahead and do the general reading as well. Okay. Whoa. I'm too nice to my cats. I just let them do whatever. But she's bugging me. Okay. There we go. Okay. Some interesting cards, a couple of recurring cards, recurring themes for you. Very, very, very interesting. So I'm going to start with the Chariot in the center because it is a major arcana. It's in the center. You only have one other major here. And I really, really am seeing, okay, and this is a very emotional reading. This is supposed to be general, so in terms of money, in terms of career, in terms of, health, and in other areas of your life. But sometimes those main areas, the main genres, they remain status quo. Nothing really changes them. But what does and what can affect them is the way you feel. Okay, very much a continuance from the last reading, but I think there's a little bit more detail here. And there's an element of faith, which I'll get to in a minute as well. I'm really sensing a duality within you. Okay, like I said in the last reading, you are going to be pulled in two different directions. You're going to be pulled between your true self and your ultimate goals, and you're going to be pulled between this person who you feel you ought to be. And you are not comfortable in that role. Okay, there's going to be a lot of internal conflict, if you will. It's not even a question of your heart versus your head. I think this is like perception versus reality more than anything, of the way other people perceive you and the way you perceive yourself. And I think the number one word that keeps coming to my mind is uncomfortable. Okay, you're going to feel uncomfortable because of playing this role, pretending to be something, pretending to be one thing when in fact you want another. The reason why I say that is here we have the Nine of Pentacles, the epitome of comfort and feeling at peace and being open and, allowing others to come into to your world. But I don't think I think your world is being challenged. What you want your world to be is being challenged. What you think you want your world to be is also being challenged. The Four of Pentacles, for me, it is a card of change a little bit. Ow! It is a card of change, but like stuck change. You recognize that a change needs to be made, but yet hesitant to make it. Okay, I think at this point or sometime during this month, you are going to realize that something in your life needs to change, something needs to be addressed. Now, I want to kind of skip ahead a little bit because I want to get to this last row. There is an element of faith. Whenever the Wheel of Fortune comes in, for me, it's like I call it the card of universal intervention, and it really is. We all have control of our life up to a certain point. Day-to-day decisions, what we wear, what we eat, whether we exercise, whether we watch TV, whether we go to work, whether we do da-da-da-da-da. And once we reach the limit of the things that we have control over, it really is up to the universe or God or the angels or whomever you identify with to set in place and set in motion other things, right? Opportunities that can present themselves, having the right people at the right places, making sure you're at the right place at the right time. All these things are not in our control. And when I get this card, it tells me that on some level, some area of your life, relationship, finance, career, health, that there is something in your life where you might not feel it, you might not recognize it, and it might be a little bit of a difficulty for you. So this feeling of stuck or this feeling of recognizing that something needs to change, this feeling of feeling out of your element, of not being yourself, it's all for a reason. Okay, you might not realize the reason now, but 5 years from now, 1 year from now, you're going to look back and you're going to be like, oh, that's why. Okay, so the faith that there's a reason for going through what it is you're going through. If you are having financial issues right now, perhaps you're faced with some sort of a job change, or faced with maybe a layoff, or maybe a promotion that you're up for. I think there's opportunities around you in your world, in your periphery, that you're not aware of yet. And if you're not happy where you are, let's say in your job, say you recognize you're not happy, but you might be hesitant to take those next steps. There's a reason why that hesitation exists. There's a reason why you aren't ready to move yet. Okay, and that reason is because the universe is putting in the final pieces of the puzzle. And it's something that you will not and maybe cannot understand right now. The reason why you are this fiery energy in reverse, the reason why you aren't in your element, the reason why your world is not quite shaping out to be exactly the way you thought it would be at this point in time. You are not meant to understand that. But with the presence of the Wheel of Fortune, it's such a it's not necessarily positive or negative, but it just indicates the fact that there's a reason, okay? And to have faith, because things work themselves out. Time works itself out. This little unrest, this upheaval in your life, some area of stress in your life, whether it's a tight deadline that you need to get done, whether it's a relationship issue, whether it's, a gnawing feeling that you need to get to the doctor because something might be wrong, or whether it's a family issue, something comes up in that realm, that things will be said, things will be done, things will be carried out in a specific fashion. You might not agree with it, you might not like it, you might not understand it, but again, this trumps all, and it's going to be okay. Okay, it is going to be okay. And the stress that you feel, this whole, just feeling a little bit lost and recognizing that things need to change, is all part of a bigger picture. Okay, so let me back. Okay, there's the Seven of Pentacles again, the Hermit and Strength. Okay, so it really does indicate that recognition, that dissatisfaction of where you are. You worked so hard, you've put in effort, I'm going to speak job specific. You've worked hard, you've put in that effort, you've put in your hours, you've come to work, you've attended meetings, you've been there, you've been present, and yet somehow, somewhere, some reason why you're feeling like it's just not enough, right? It doesn't bring enough value to your life. On the relationship side, it doesn't bring the happiness or the joy that you entirely feel. There's just some dampening of spirit happening here. And realizing, okay, and just feeling, I mean, the Hermit and the Two of Wands for me are very similar cards. It's that card of projection, right? But for me, the Hermit is more of an existential concept. It's more, what is my purpose in life? What is my purpose in this universe, in this world? Like, what am I doing here? And a very self-reflective, very honest conversation with yourself about who you are and what you want. This job isn't fulfilling me. Well, what is my passion? And should I pursue that passion as a career choice, or should I just let that remain a passion and develop it as a hobby? Or should I, let's say you're not happy in your location. Should I move? Maybe I'm stuck in Albany, New York. It's cold, it's snowy. Maybe I want to move down to Miami. Okay, I mean, there's I think maybe some big life decisions happening here. I don't think you're going to be taking significant action at this point in time. I think actually your spirit has been dampened, okay, because of because of this. Because there's some instance in your life, there's some upheaval that is pulling the spirit away from you. It's pulling your drive, it's pulling your passion, it's pulling your love for life, okay? It's like I said, it's not permanent. It's a more superficial type of energy. It's temporary, so it's not going to last forever, and it's not going to completely change or ruin your life. It's not going to, but it is affecting you deeply, and your strength, your spirit is being affected. You're feeling weakened. And that is a very, very difficult energy to deal with when you're faced, or when it's going to be a transition period for you, okay? But nothing's going to happen sudden, nothing's going to happen overnight. It's going to be a period of realization. And even though you don't have all the information, even though you're hesitant to move forward, it's going to be a very honest discussion with yourself, okay? But the good news is, despite, the fact, reverse, whatever, the Hermit, the good news is these are really beautiful cards. And you do have the strength. You do have the vision. It is there. That underlying energy is absolutely there. So while you may be feeling this way right now, you might be out of your element. You might not be feeling like yourself. You will get back to it. You will get back to yourself. Okay, this is an ever-evolving, the cards are ever-evolving. They change. And that's a really positive thing for you, okay? This is not a negative reading. I don't want you to think that. It has a lot of beauty to it. It's simply something we all must go through. Realization of our life path is something we all must deal with. There are always conflicts in life. There are always victories in life. There are always blessings, and there are always, some struggles. So they always come when they're meant to come, and there's that element of faith there. So anyway, I think that's it for you, Cancer. I wish you nothing but the best this month. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next month.